Great. Welcome to Digital Asset News. My name is Rob, and today we got again a lot of things to go over, so let's just jump right in. The first thing we're going to talk about is there's a leaked document from Celsius. Looks like it was a meeting a couple of days ago, and I got to tell you, the things that were said in there were quite surprising, and the direction that they're going, it could actually work. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Then we'll talk, do a little quick update on the Voyager auction. I got to tell you, this is some pretty good news for those of you who have stuck with Voyager and have some things on there. And we'll talk about Gary Gensler from the SEC. He has to go. It's just ridiculous. There's a new demands that he has for the crypto market. And I got to tell you, it's kind of unbelievable. And then we'll talk about the Ethereum merge party, which will be going on for the next day or two as everybody gets all excited about Ethereum and the merge, which I'm a little excited myself. And of course, at the end, we'll do a little Q&A. So first things first, let's talk about this leaked audio. And just real quick, I know that we're seeing some price action, which is not surprising here in the markets. And I know we've taken quite a hit, especially with Bitcoin, the overall crypto market, but not as bad as the traditional market. Just remember this, the US stock market wiped out $1.6 trillion yesterday. So just keep that in perspective as things are maybe following 10% or 20% or whatever else it is, which is a bummer, but at least we're not. Meta, Google, Microsoft, geez, Amazon, awful. And that's what's going on in the traditional space. Let's talk about this. So this was a leaked audio, and it was put up by Tiffany Fong. You know what Tiffany Fong is? She's actually transcribed everything that's in the audio version on her website, and she's got a YouTube channel. And she did a pretty great job of doing this. Now, she said that she was not the one that was there, which because she's not a employee, I don't know why she would be there, but it was sent to her anonymously, and it's pretty telling. And also, we're going to do this really quick because there's a lot of things going on, and I'm not here to break down every little piece, nook and cranny of what Alex Mashinsky said and the things that were going on in the sales. I'm just going to give you the highlights and go from there. If you want to find somebody who really breaks it down extremely well and gets into the nitty gritty, go check out my friend Aaron Bennett. And I linked Aaron's channel and Tiffany's channel, actually Tiffany's channel and Aaron's video in the link in the description. And you can just check that out. But I'm just going to give you the highlights. So first things first. This is, when I first heard about this and I saw this, I'm like, this is never going to work. And there's some concerning things that were said, and I will definitely tell you that. The first thing that Alex talks about over this is the macro economic environment. And he's right, it's pretty bad. And then he goes into talks about some different various things, one of those being custody versus earn accounts. And these were just put in not too long ago as far as the custody versus the earn. And what he's saying is, it was telling. He said, I want to give everybody back that have put crypto into their custody accounts. And he said absolutely nothing about the earn accounts. So that's not great. But you got to understand, in those terms and conditions for the custody versus earn accounts in terms and conditions, we're pretty much saying that, hey, we own this stuff. And that's too bad if we go out of business. We own your crypto. And that was the truth. Unfortunately, or fortunately, if you were in the custody program, that just took off 4 months before they closed down. So there's a little bit of gray area. And I think that's why they're saying, we want to give you that back because we have no legal recourse here. And that's pretty much where it goes. But it is telling that he doesn't talk about the actual earn portion of that. And then he talks about the new business model. I'll get that in a second. He talks about how 5 to 20% of Voyager of Celsius customers will stay with Celsius. I think that number is quite high, but I could be wrong. I'll tell you in a bit why. And then he goes into bankruptcy comparisons and said that Celsius is doing great because they're in Chapter 11, as opposed to a bunch of other different ones that are going to go in Chapter 11 later on. And he compares that to Pepsi and Boeing, or Delta, excuse me, for the airline company. There's a big difference there. Those two went into different issues. It wasn't like, as Aaron Bennett says, it's not like Pepsi was poisoning people and Delta was crashing all day long. A lot of the issues were a little bit different. Celsius has pretty much taken a lot of crypto and a lot of savings from a lot of people. And there's a big difference in what he's talking about there. But that's just that section. The big thing was this. The new organization. So they want to rebrand from Celsius to Kelvin, sure, whatever. And what they want to do is they want to get away from their model. They don't want to do any earn, which, let's be honest, I think that got away from them drastically. And they want to just be like another exchange, essentially. They want to do swaps. They want to do, what was the other thing? Swaps, trading. They want to do multi-sig wallets, a new technology called NPC tech, where you control your crypto, but they have part of it or something like that. And then also they want to continue to do loans. And when I was listening to it, a couple of things crossed my mind. First of all, who would go for that? And another thing is that this is also what Peter Thiel talks about a lot. You don't want to be in an industry where there's a ton of competition, because that just makes for an uphill battle. So what separates Celsius from an FTX, from a Coinbase, from a KuCoin, from a Binance, from a whatever exchange that are out there, and there's a plethora of those? What separates it? Really what separated was the community. And when you lose that trust, for people to stick around, I think people will stick around, because that's just how people are. I do think that it's going to be an uphill battle for them. So this leads me to my last point, and I will just say this, why I think this could actually work. I was talking to my wife about this, and I said, who the hell would go for that? She goes, you don't understand. She goes, Rob, people have the worst memories of all time. They're like goldfish. And me and you will remember these things, right? Since we're here and are around. But as time marches on, they'll hear echoes of what Celsius used to be, which is not called Celsius. Now it's called Kelvin. And maybe Alex might not even be that figurehead. Maybe it'll be somebody else. And once that happens, and they go, we have this other model, people will just forget. Mark my words, people will just forget. We won't forget. But the new people that are coming in, especially in 2024, 2025, 2026, they're going to come in and they're going to find something. And one of those could actually be that. Why I think that this is actually good is not because I trust Celsius. Are you out of your mind? What I think is good about this is that what they did talk about is with this new business that starts up. And I'm not here to say that it's going to be awesome and they're not going to do the same mistakes they did before. Hopefully they learn from them, but who knows? The revenue that they generate from these swaps, from these trades, from all these things that are going on, they'll be able to, and this is in their plan, to pay back people like you and me who are just sitting around. Does that mean it's going to happen automatically? No. It's going to take some time. My question is for you is this: what would you rather do? Would you rather take the haircut of 70%, 60%, 50% and go, I'm out, give me my crypto? Or would you stick around and go, okay, I want my full, because one Bitcoin is still one Bitcoin, unless I'm incorrect here. If you could stick around for it and go, okay, you want to do that, and then there's also an opportunity for a Bitcoin mining company, I'll wait for that. I'm going to be here anyhow for 2 or 3 years. Let's see how it goes. The big question is how they all structure that. So I know this, when you hear me say, I think it could work and it could actually do good things, the only thing it could do good is pay us back. And that's what I'm all about. Moving forward, I need to make this crystal clear. Anything that has to do with Celsius or Kelvin or anything else, there is no way I'll be talking about that moving forward. There is a breach of trust. I don't know exactly what went on. Some people think it wasn't a big deal, but there was, I believe, gross mismanagement going on. And we'll talk about that in a second. But I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I can tell you like this. There's a lot of people, like my friend Jesus, name change to protect the innocent, who invested $148,373 of his entire life savings of working 10 plus years in a gig economy. And now it's sitting on Celsius. I don't care what happens. If he gets paid back and a lot of people get paid back, I'm happy. Let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And then I just want to finish up with a couple of things, which is this. There was one part that really ticked me off on what was said here, which was Alex has the same song and dance, which he believes a lot of people are incompetent and they can't control their public keys. And he states a figure where 20% of all Bitcoin holders have lost their private keys. Sure, I can see that over time, because over time people don't know exactly what they have. In 2011, 2012, 13, 14, 15, I don't think people realize how big Bitcoin would be. I think as time moves on and you've got one Bitcoin in your wallet, you will probably really want to protect that seed phrase, that mnemonic phrase, so you don't lose anything. But he still says, hey, 20%, and they need us, and we have this different technology that we can use, the NPC and the multi-sig wallets, because people, they don't know how to do it. Essentially saying you're too stupid. That's really what it comes down to. And before, I might have agreed with him. I might have said, yeah, people got too much going on. But I think in the future, we're all smart enough to figure it out, and the positives outweigh the negatives. Just learn a simple thing, and that's why I created danteachescrypto.com. It's 100% free, so everybody can learn exactly how to do it step by step, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and make things just like that. And also, as far as multi-sig, you can do that on a ledger if you really want to. A little bit of a process. I'll probably just do a video about that, and we'll go from there. And then to finish up also with this one, my man Simon Dixon had a good poll out. And now some people say, well, Simon's got an ulterior motive. Probably because he's an investor. He probably would like his money back, just like the rest of us. And he put out a poll and said, look, and this makes sense to me. How many would like the Celsius UCC to force Celsius Network to create a poll feature and file a motion to have polls completed by all Celsius Network users in their app to vote on recovery issues like having Mashinsky as their future leader and other recovery matters? Brilliant. If that goes through, I will talk about that all the time, because that's the only way that we're going to figure out exactly who wants what and what the best option is. It's a democracy. The power of rule prevails, and we'll see how it goes. I think it's a great idea. Somebody else says it's a bad idea. You got to explain that to me in the comment section, and we'll go from there. And then lastly, I'm not going to pass too much judgment and condemn anybody. Let's see what the Chapter 11 rolls out. Celsius hearing is live. Legal counsel going over the examiner motion, reducing the scope so that Celsius Network doesn't run out of money. They said Mashinsky to provide information on his withdrawals from the platform before the freeze. Oh, this is getting good. I would love to see exactly what happened with the Celsius token and everything that's going on with the short squeeze. And we'll be talking to those guys soon. So I will just leave it up in the air and let the chips fall where they may. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. Now let's move on to a quick Voyager update. Yeah, the auction's still going on. So I think this is good news. Voyager Official Committee of Unsecured Creditors. They said, because the auction was supposed to be done yesterday, but we know all of you want an update on the auction. We're sorry we haven't been able to provide one. All we can say right now is that the auction is still ongoing in its second day and remains highly competitive. I gotta like that. I like those wordings. So maybe we can get out of this as well. So Voyager and Celsius, maybe there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And then lastly, let's just finish up this with a friend of the show. Just kidding. Gary Gensler. We did an article a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, about how Gary was pretty much ceding power to the CFTC. But in this one, it's a little bit different. He reiterates that most cryptos are securities before a U.S. banking committee. And this isn't really a shift in his stance, but it is interesting what he wants. So I think that might be a typo. Gary Gensler reiterated his belief that most crypto assets are securities in his testimony before the U.S. Senate Banking Committee on September 15th. I think that's I think it's the day. It's the 14th, right? Am I wrong? Okay. Meanwhile, he noted that the commission would have to be flexible in applying the current law requirements. That's kind of good news. Gensler also said that crypto intermediaries like centralized exchanges and DeFi would have to register with the SEC to facilitate these securities transactions. Here's my question. Can you shut down a DEX? I mean, in reality, can you shut them down? I know like China has, of course, the Great Firewall, and they can do a lot of things with that. But I mean, can you shut down the DEX? Can they do that? I don't think they can. Let me know in the comments section. Just find it very interesting how they worded that. And then, according to Gensler, the registration would allow the regulator to delineate their function and possibly disaggregate their functions into separate legal entities to mitigate conflicts of interest and enhance investor protections. Look, I'm all for that, investor protections. And we know there's a lot of rug pulls going on. We also know exactly how risky this sector is. And the reason why we got into it was a lot of things as far as decentralization. Again, I think there should be a little regulation. I think there should be clarity as to what things are actually considered. Like, what is a currency? What is a security? what is a commodity, kind of go from there. But for this to break it all down, of course, people were right. They said, once you give an inch, you take a mile. But if we have to go through this process, I'd rather be a part of the voice than just sitting back going, you shouldn't do that. I'd rather be a part of it. So, oh yeah, the SEC noted that these entities might one day have to register with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission because they also facilitate tradings of non-security tokens. So imagine like an exchange going, oh, you have to register with the SEC and the CFTC because there's a gray area. I think they should just cut their losses and just say, let's just create a crypto and digital asset firm, and they oversee everything. Why are they doing this? It's so stupid. The SEC chairman has repeatedly urged the crypto community to come in and talk to the regulator. Yeah, just like Coinbase did, and they slapped them with a lawsuit, but they said they're going to sue the pants off them. And of course, they're also involved with Ripple. Oh, I didn't know they were involved with Library. That's a bummer. Ripple, XRP Library, and Coinbase over violations of the Securities Act. So that's what's going on with good old Gary. And then lastly, just to finish up, after this, in about 45 minutes or so, I'll be with Crypto Slates, who did a pretty good job with these articles on a bit different other ones. And we're going to go over for a merge, Ethereum merge party. I don't think it's going to happen when I'm there, but they're going to be doing this live stream until it actually happens. And apparently, we're hours away. So that's your news for today. You can find all the links in the description, especially this little merge party, and talk all about that stuff. Yay. And then we go from there. But that concludes today's news. If you got to take off, thanks for sticking around. I do appreciate it. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, a like, all that stuff. You can subscribe, but it's not like YouTube's going to actually notify you appropriately. But if you do, that'd be great. I appreciate it. And lastly, if you want to stick around for a little Q&A, I will answer all your questions to the best of my abilities, and we'll go from there. But that concludes the news. So thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Let's jump into a little Q&A.